To be honest, I know it's been like a whole year since 2024, but I feel like there's this one underrated album that I feel like really flew under the radar as time passed. But to be honest, in a way, I could kind of understand why. The album that I'm talking about right here is the collaborative project between James Blake and Lil Yachty, Bad Cameo. To be honest, I was a little bit skeptical about this whole album coming out as a whole, concerning the fact that I don't really heard much music between the two, which is the reason why I'll explain later, which is why I feel like it became pretty forgotten amongst a lot of people. But as I go back to it, there are a few gems on this album right here that a lot of people don't really go back to as much. Like songs like Woo and Transport Me are both pretty good tracks between James Blake and Lil Yachty. Just takes you into a whole nother world when it comes to music. Like for real. And 2024 was like a huge year for music, so it's understandable as to why it became pretty forgotten. But concerning the fact that it was two big name artists as a whole, especially with Lil Yachty, which after dropping Let's Start Here, it's starting to seem like he was going to a whole different direction when it comes to music. I feel like this would have got a lot more attention than it does now, but looking back on it, I could kind of see, I could see why Ray did flow under the radar. Cause like I said, before this project, there wasn't really a whole lot of work between these two. Not to say that together they can't make a good song together, but I feel like there's certain criterias when it comes to making a collaborative project. Take for example the Without Warning album with these three artists, 21 Savage and Metro Boomin and Offset. Now I already made a video reviewing these three's whole album. I already made a video discussing the songs off the album. Pretty good album to listen to, not gonna lie. Alright, so I'm editing right here, and I just realized that this was actually a surprise album, so there wasn't really a whole lot of anticipation behind it, considering that it literally came out of nowhere. But my point still stands at how it still works well as a collaborative project as a whole, and it's still very memorable amongst the music genre as a whole. But yeah, just wanted to put that out there. Alright, back to the video. Cause in my opinion, the whole criteria for a collab album is that one, these are artists that supposed to work well with each other. Which although James Blake and Lil Yachty do work together on each other in this album, another criteria for collab albums as a whole is that they have to be artists that collaborate frequently or collaborated on a few projects before then. This is why I feel like this album between these three works as a whole. Because one, when on a track together, these three do work perfectly well. And two, these are artists that have worked frequently before then. These are artists that before then worked on projects. And like I said, they work really well together when on tracks, bro. So that's I believe the whole criteria when it comes to albums like that. I feel like that's the mistake that these two made when trying to make Bad Cameo. For collab albums, you can't just do a whole collab album with someone that you haven't really worked on frequently. I feel like it has to be a whole chemistry that you and this artist had on frequent tracks over and over, or for y'all to make a successful collab album that will be of interest to a lot of people. And it's not to say it needs to be mainstream or all that in order to be a good album, but I don't know, just something about these two working on an album when they didn't really have a whole lot of chemistry before then. It just felt out of nowhere, to be honest. Them make a project together, it just felt out of place when it came out. And it's not to say it's a bad album. Like I said, there are songs on there that are pretty good off the album. But at the same time, I feel like there should have been stuff that should have been done before going into this project. But I don't know, that's just me. Anyway, what do you guys think about this project here? Drop your opinions down in the comments below if you feel like discussing about it. And if not, hey, it is what it is. But either way, I hope you take care. Peace.